Hi there. I just wanted to jump on here quickly and I don't normally do this, but I'm getting to the stage where I think something needs to be said. Um, as a lot of you know, I run a program called Alcohol Recovery Scotland that is a medication based alcohol reduction program leading to abstinence. The program comes with a clinically tested 78% success rate. Up until now, I've been a little bit cautious and a little bit wary of pushing that side of it too much. But as we're going through this virus situation, and I'm realizing, from my point of view, I'm getting a lot of new inquiries. I'm speaking to families and I'm speaking to people who have loved ones who the lives are just torn apart with alcohol. Um, the destruction it is doing in some people's lives, not in everybody, but in some people's lives, is just shocking. Um, there are programs out there. I worked in alcohol and drug rehab centres for a while, and I want to make one point very, very clear that the alcohol and drug rehab centres do an absolutely amazing job. AA programs do an absolutely amazing job. CA, NA, smart groups, all the other different groups, they do an absolutely amazing job. However, they are doing everything they can in their power to find a solution to support people in that situation. But the success rates are fairly low. That's nothing to do with the organisations, it's nothing to do with what they do. It's to do with, I don't want to go into the whole detail of it, but that addiction is created by craving and habit. Now, the craving is created in someone's brain through a medical chemical imbalance that is happening in somebody's brain. So you need to deal with that with medication. Alcoholism is an illness, it's a disease of the brain. So you have to deal with it with medication. If you don't deal with it with medication, it's done purely on willpower. Now, a small percentage of people that go into abstinent-based programs have the strength of character to carry out the willpower, the strength to stop drinking on their own. Majority of people don't. Now, that's because the craving continues. The craving will carry on and carry on and carry on. So there is a medication available on the market today that will deal with that craving and will stop that craving from happening, which in turn stops the relapses, which is the number one cause of people going back to drinking again. It's that relapse. We can stop people drinking for a period of time through willpower, through rehabs, through tests, things like that. Like I said, they do an amazing job. However, the relapse side of things is very, very high because people don't deal with the chemical, medical, biological thing that's happening in people's brains that is what creates the illness, and therefore you need medication. You need medication to deal with that. There is a medication on the market today that will result in a 78% success rate in alcoholism. It is malpractice that it's not being used today. If you go to your doctor will advise you just stop drinking, go to a support group, go to a peer meeting like an AA meeting or like I said, which are very, very good. They're peer support meetings, but they don't deal with the craving. So if you go to the doctor, I've got epilepsy. If I go to the doctor and say, hello doctor, I'm epileptic, I need some help here. If he said to me, well, just stop having the fits and go to your local epilepsy support group and you'll be okay. And I'd say, well, listen, I've come to the doctor because I know there's a medication out there that will stop me having fits. Could you please prescribe that to me? No, I can't give you that because of whatever. there is a medication on the market that the doctors can be prescribing today that will solve 70 to 80% of conditions of alcohol use disorder, alcohol dependency, alcoholism. And it's not being used. It is not being used. And I've had enough. To be honest with you, I've had enough. It is time now for me to take the backlash that I'm going to take for this. But that is half the reason I've held off with it for a while. But I'm going to get a backlash from this, mostly from people from dependency-based programs. But if there is a solution to something that has a 78% success rate, it has to get out there, it has to be used, it's clinically proven. I've got client after client after client after client who has been through the program and it has been successful for them. There are clinical trials, there are medical trials, there's a whole bunch of medical proof. It's not something that's just I've come up with last week that the hope that it works. There is medical, clinical proof that it is working. So why is it not the go-to process? You can take the medication and use AA, you can take the medication and use all the peer support groups, but without the medication you don't deal with the craving, you don't deal with the addictive physical side of the addiction, which creates the relapse and people keep coming back to it. We have to change it. We have to change this process. It's wrong. It is blatantly wrong. There are people die. I read a statistic yesterday, I put it up on my Facebook. 51,000 children in Scotland, 51,000 children in Scotland live with a parent who has maybe not the high level addiction, but they have an issue with alcohol. 51,000 children, and we are doing nothing about it. The one thing the coronavirus is teaching us now is that the money is available to do things when it becomes an emergency. We're in an emergency at the moment. We are in an emergency in Scotland in regards to alcohol. We're in an emergency with COVID. That needs to be dealt with. We are in an emergency as well with alcoholism, and if we don't deal with that, the alcohol problem is getting worse and worse and worse as we speak because of isolation. Something needs to be done. Sorry about my rant, but it's time to come clean, it's time to open up, it's time to take the slack, which I'll get. But I've seen it working, and I will stand in front of anybody, any medical person, any professor, every doctor, give me anybody just to show them the proof of what I'm talking about, and I will blow your mind with what is available. If you know anyone that's got a drink issue, then speak to me. I'm not trying to push for it. My salary is covered by funding. I'm not looking at it. I don't make money out of this. There is a solution, and we need to get it out there. We need to get it out there. And especially now with people isolating and drinking more, 51,000 children are living in households where drink is an issue. 51,000. That I could go on and on with statistics. 3.6 billion pounds a year is being spent in Scotland alone because of alcohol misuse. 3.6 billion pounds. I can go on and on and on. We need to do something about it. There is a solution. There is a solution. And it's not just hopefully we can stop. If you get people using the medication, I could go on and on and on. There is a solution. If you're in a position of government, if you're in a position of authority in that area, I would love to speak to people in that area. We need to have wholesale change. Now's the time to do it, because the government is putting money to... There is money available. It's going to cost millions and billions for the coronavirus. We can add on a little bit extra and make a huge dent in the addiction